Yeah, I like where our guys are at. I think it's same thing we talked about a week ago. It's time to see a different team and actually play football. I mean, with what we've tried to do, limiting our guys with contact at the same time, trying to get them in some situations where they've got to be able to function. We haven't had a whole ton of true live reps with our guys going to be playing on Saturday as of late, just trying to get guys healthy to that first one. So we're excited about it. I'm looking forward to seeing our guys on the field. At the end of the day, there's going to be some mistakes. First game of the year, you always see the procedural penalties or, lining up, not getting lined up. So we've got to limit that stuff. Obviously, they've got a game under their belt, so that'll be all ironed out for them. But we've got to do a job to limit the mental mistakes, especially early in the game, so we can get into a little bit of a flow, and then we'll see where we're at. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we got to take care of the football. So you're starting a new queue, a bunch of new guys up front. We've got to be able to function without turning the football over. And the biggest thing for us is we want to see our guys play with some energy, some aggression, some physicality that, you may not see in practice during early camp, but multiple hats to the football on defense, guys sustaining blocks on offense, whether that be the O-line or the skill on the outside edges. The basic fundamentals that we preach every single day and the way we go about it, that's the kind of stuff that we want to see show up on Saturday. What happens from there in the first game, like I said, we'll deal with those as they come. But, the stuff that we can control, our energy, our effort, toughness, that stuff cannot be lacking in any phase. And it won't just be this week. Those guys understand the expectation over there, and we've made that very clear since last December with the bodies we have coming back there. Obviously, at some point, you've got to get things rolling on offense. You cannot win games, especially in our league, at this level without scoring points. So, but early on, your leadership of Sam Kinney and Schlicht and Bates and Sipple and all those guys that are on that side of the ball that have all the reps and then the age, you'd like to think you can lean on those guys till we grow up a little bit up front and at Q, and then it's not going to all be put on them. Obviously, we've got some talent on the edges that we like a lot. So Darius can have to make plays. If we're getting coverages like we talked about a week ago that they're accounting for him, then Mardish, Champney, and Mettlach are all going to have to show up. And then I think the guy that gets forgotten a lot about is Will Moreno's back for his last year as well with a ton of experience in the backfield. So our skill guys are going to have to pick us up at the beginning, get those guys up front in some kind of a groove, and then hopefully we can establish something as we move through the game. Yeah, I mean, the big difference obviously is going to be down on the field, so the emotion of the football game is going to be different being right in the mix than when you're up in the air-conditioned booth or heated booth here in a couple weeks, whatever it may be. But I'm looking forward to being down in the mix with all the guys. I also do think this, that in the last year, the amount of work that our guys have put in the weight room, in our off-season conditioning, we had 70 guys up here for the better part of the summer. I'm excited to see those guys finally get to let it rip and see where they're at. So we've put a big emphasis on our strength conditioning program, and those guys have bought into that. And now we're getting to the point where it's game time, right? You get to have some fun. It's not always just beating each other up or being in the weight room at 6 in the morning. The Saturdays are for the guys, and hopefully we've done enough to prepare them so that they can just go play free. There are going to be some things that happen. Whether he's going into his fourth year of school and been behind Willie for 3 years, or he's a true freshman, playing this position at this level is different than high school. So there are going to be mistakes. We know that. The one thing that I keep talking to Alex about is, you got to be able to manage the football game. If there's going to be mistakes, we can deal with those, but it just cannot be the big ones where we're putting the ball in jeopardy, or we're holding on to it too long, or we're missing a read on some of our RPO stuff. He's got to be able to control the game from that standpoint, so that if things don't go well, whether it be a 3-and-out or we're traveling for 8 plays and we just don't get anything out of it, we've got to be able to kick the football to flip the field, so we're not putting our defense in bad situations, giving them a short field, or even just the momentum that can happen with the turnover. So, at the same time, we don't want him stressing the whole time about not being able to make a mistake. That's not the case either. But, he's got to be able to manage the football game get the football where it needs to go, run game or pass game, and then ultimately when there's a chance for him to make a play with his feet, or we get behind him possibly with a shot play, we've got to be able to hit those. That helps settle down everything. So I'm looking forward to him. I think he's ready. Excited to see him play. He's been waiting a long time. When we recruited him out of high school, this was the intention that he was going to take over the show at some point, and he's ready for that. Yeah, I mean, taking advantage of it. I think that's been a deal of in our locker room since 1999 when I was coming to school here. Was taking care of home field was a mentality that we always came up the hill with, whether it be 90 degrees today or 60 on Saturday, 30 at the end of the year. It doesn't matter what it is, but when you're walking up the hill here with the travel that teams have to go through to get here, the unique setting that we have at Curley Stadium, unlike any other stadium that we play in from that standpoint, you got the band in the mix, but taking advantage of everything that is unique up here that the other teams don't get to experience on a day in, day out basis. That's got to be something that our guys get excited to play in front of, and obviously, showing up at 1 o'clock, ready to go from the first kick has not been something that we've been great at the last couple of years. It takes us a little while to get going, but again, you get those teams that get on the bus for that long in a setting like we're in. We got to be able to jump on them right from the get-go and be ready to play.